What's up? It's Rence. I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Getting ready to drop that fall EP. So you've released what, 3, 4 tracks now. Two of them recently that are from the upcoming EP. Like every time that you've released new music, like how does that kind of impact this upcoming EP for you?
It feels fantastic to get the music out. It's something it's very close to me, as I imagine is with a lot of artists, but especially this EP is very personal. Like all of the songs are about real life situations with real people involved, and so it's a little scary each time something comes out because there's real implications for like my relationships with other people and things like that. But it feels fantastic, and it gets me more and more excited for the EP that's coming out soon, next Friday.
Man, it's already coming up. Now, as you mentioned, like it kind of makes you nervous about these relationships because you talk about them and you don't know what's going to happen with the people that, it's about. Like, how do you get comfortable doing something like that? Like, I know, some people battle with like getting vulnerable on their music, but like when you talk about someone in particular, like how are you able to do that?
I would say first that you don't get comfortable doing that, or I haven't figured it out yet. Um, um, but just, I think in music, honesty is the best policy, and as long as that honesty is not saying something I shouldn't about someone, which it never is. It's just being honest about the situations that made me feel a certain way, and that's why it's in the song that way. So being honest is only beneficial for the art, and that's what I'm here to do, is make honest art.
Now, we were talking earlier how you come from a producer background, and you interned and worked at other studios in the past. So how did working at these like studios kind of influence your music or the way that you create music, especially since I'm assuming there's so many different artists that come through those studios that you worked at.
Oh my goodness. It's huge, huge, huge. Like, especially having been at NYU, I feel so lucky to have gotten an education in the music industry. It's been priceless in navigating it for myself. And the studio was somewhere, I worked in a studio in Brooklyn. I also worked at a publishing company, at a branding company, just like trying to get a handle on all the different sides of the industry that I would then throw myself into right at the middle of, because the artist kind of sits at the middle of working in the studios and doing production as I produce my own stuff and work with other producers, but also at the middle of brand collaborations with artists and publishing deals and record deals and everything. So I purposefully tried to situate myself right in the middle of that so that I could look out on it as I was doing it, or as I am doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And as you were kind of doing that, like, did certain sounds kind of influence your music?
It's a good question. Yes, but kind of in an abstract way, because I am creating music now at a time where I have more access to sounds than ever before, than I ever had before, or than anyone ever had before. It's like, not just me, I mean, but everybody who's working now. So there's an ease of access to a wide range of new influences that they just like seep in. And I think the difference is, for me, is that I don't try and stop them from seeping in. Rather than saying like I want to sound like this or this, I just create and see where the final product is. And a lot of times that turns into nothing, and it's like, okay, that didn't work, but the ones that do work are super special.
Right. Now, we were mentioning earlier as well, like as you were, messing with the acoustic guitar, like you're not used to kind of starting a track or something with a guitar, because you're more used to like the whole production type of things.
Yeah.
Is that safe to say with everything?
Yes and no. I am totally comfortable doing that for production. Like I can do it in the studio, and now I'm transitioning and trying to bring whole new live experiences with those same instruments, because over the years I played a lot of different instruments and started to understand I have like an intermediate level proficiency with a lot of different things, but really performing with them means that the ones that I perform with need to be brought up to like expert and fast. You know what I mean? Like you can't hide it. Like there's no like dragging and changing the notes, or it is what it is when you're doing it live. So that's what I've been working on.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, when I first heard of you, you were about to release Expensive. You had just signed to Epic. Now, it's cool that you came in. This was your debut single, but you chose to have a collaboration into it, such as Noah Cyrus. So, like, why did you feel like it was right to come in, introduce yourself to the world with a collaboration instead of like just showing yourself?
Sure. I think collaborating is a huge part of myself, which is a big piece of that. Like I say this a lot. I've learned everything I know, everything I like, everything I don't like, how to do things, how not to do things through collaborating with other people. And collaborating will always be a huge part of who RENCE is, who I am, what the music is. Like, nothing happens on its own. Even if I completely produce something, there's other people involved. So I feel like it's emblematic of that. And at the same time, one of my policies is just to do what, as I was mentioning, is to do whatever's best for the song. And in that case, it was certainly to have her on it, because the song is good and well made, but it needed new energy. It needed something to rejuvenate it, and that's exactly what she did.
Now, you wrote that song like maybe a year and a half ago. So you sat on it. You didn't even release it. So what was it that told you, like, you know what, I need a female voice, or I need a feature, or this song is so good I'm going to sit on it and wait for another year to, like, release it?
It was actually kind of other people that told me that, which is why I needed to listen.
Were you ready to just trash it?
I'm always ready to trash things. No, but it was something that I put a lot of time into. I did it with two of my very close collaborators, and we, like, really, it was our baby for a long time. For like 3 months we worked on the song and then finished it, and we were like, well, it's really cool. And I showed it to a lot of people, but I was like, I don't know what to do with it. It just didn't feel like me at that moment. But when we started talking to Epic and they showed that they really loved the song, I had been trying to figure out what it needed for me to be excited about it again. It sounds bad, but, you know, like, this is the truth. And so I just decided it needed another presence and a female presence to just, like, drive it and take it home.
Now, lyrics-wise, is it the same lyrics as a year and a half ago?
Yeah, it's the same.
Nothing like, did you change anything at all with the song aside from adding the vocals?
Actually, the feel of the song changed a lot, because I knew that Noah was, so I heard that she was going to put a verse on it, and I was super excited, but I didn't realize that she was going to, like, really look at the song and make, not like structural changes, but serious, like, sonic changes to the song too, that took it to the next level. Like, all of the background vocals and the and, like, things like that really, like, added those, it, like, filled in those holes. Like, there are little moments between sections, and she was able to connect them all together and make it into, like, one coherent thing. Yeah. She's a G.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. So, you know, you dropped that. Recently you dropped I Know and Dark Side, which are part of the EP. You know, as you went in to create this EP, the 6 tracks in the EP, like, where do you feel you are sonically? Do you feel like it's the same sound as Dark Side and I Know as we hear, or do you feel like the other 4 songs kind of give us a new feel, a new introduction of who you are?
They're similar to those. Yeah. I'm proud of this EP because it feels pretty coherent. Like, I'm working, as we were talking about earlier, like, I'm working on music every day, new songs every day. The folders just get bigger and bigger, but I pride myself in my ability to be selective and to release a body of work that feels like it's situated around the same thing. So I feel like that's what this EP is. Those 2 songs fit perfectly in with the other 4, and for the people that really listen and dig into the lyrics a little bit, there's, like, interplay between the songs and the titles and all sorts of things. So yeah,
I feel like not many people do that anymore.
I know, but there's so much value there. Like, that's the music I was raised on, were coherent projects, like albums, and I will be there soon to do my album and my second and my third and whatever, and those will be coherent projects as well, but for now that comes in the form of EPs.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is it about this EP that, you know, you're ready to drop it already? I mean, you've been working on this for some time now, but, you know, what is it that, you know, now the fall is, like, the right time to drop this EP?
That's
Instead
good.
of doing, like, the singles game.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I have experimented with both, releasing one-off singles and EPs in the past, and just kind of took a look at what my fans are looking for, and I feel like if you have a certain level of quality control, it's always worth giving more for people to consume. Right. And honestly, the plan is after this EP to quickly follow up with 2 more singles and another EP before Thanksgiving. So the idea is just, if the quality's there, which I think it is, to give people lots of things to consume and to become part of their lives, for them to enjoy. Yeah.
You've been also, like, you know, doing sessions with various people lately. So, you know, have they kind of impacted you in the way that you kind of write your music now?
Absolutely, all the time. I think as I've been doing this a little bit longer, every day I feel like I have a little bit better of a sense of what my through line is. I just have a better sense of self in my creations or in my creating, and that shines through a little bit more and more, which I'm super excited about. But absolutely, everyone I work with is showing me new things, even on a production standpoint, like that I can take into a new song that I start, like techniques for doing things, or, oh, I'd never thought of doing that right there. And I also think that I'm able to add that to the collaborations. Like, I'm always looking for things that are the unexpected, and like, oh, like, what if we get to this point in the song and then cut the tempo in half and do something crazy? It's like fun things.
Start doing some math on it, basically.
Yeah. But yeah.
That's sick. Now, since you come as a producer with a producer background, like when you create your music, especially this upcoming EP, like, do you have other producers stepping in to assist you? And, how do they kind of challenge you?
I feel so lucky to be able to work with so many talented producers and writers and just general creatives. And I feel like this EP has been a test of my ability to keep things contained while branching out simultaneously in so many different directions with different people. Because this EP was made in like different cities with different people, and just on the basis of trying to make the best music that I could make, and to be honest. And through trying to make the best music and being honest, I ended up with a product that I think is me at my best and fully honest.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, before like this signing, you were an independent artist. Like, you had, I'm gonna butcher these lyrics, but you had written something along the lines of, "I'm gonna make $1 million in the basement."
Billion, but yeah.
Billion in the basement. There you go. So how much of a reality is that now that people are starting to pay attention to you and your music, and other artists are starting to know who you are?
I don't think about it that way at all. I think the billion in the basement line is metaphorical and less literal.
Okay.
Like, it's not. I know what it sounds like, but like the idea is that I can make $1 billion in the basement stands for I can do the things I want to do and achieve great things, but still remember who I am as that kid in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah. So not to make $1 billion. I would love to make $1 billion to give it all away. Like, it's not. I don't need $1 billion, but that just is a stand-in for like seeing your dreams come to fruition, reaching those goals, but still remembering who you are, why you do it. Like, that song's basically about me working full-time and my mom.
Yeah.
And that's me, like,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, what has been the biggest struggle in order to, create your music and be who you are today?
Biggest struggle to create my music and be who I am today. I think lately it's been an interesting situation where I have so much input from so many talented people, and it becomes a question of how do you tell when to listen to someone's ideas versus when not to. And there's no training for that, really. Like,
More of a gut feeling.
it is, absolutely. Like, I jokingly call some of my things like gut music, because like that's like what it comes down to.
Right. That's the Thanksgiving EP. That's what it's gonna be.
Music. That's funny. Yeah, so it's an interesting problem to have when you have so many people who are excited and have great ideas, and it's hard to parse out which of those ideas feel like me and which feel like, okay, maybe that's not me, or maybe it is later. It's just like hard to navigate what ideas to say yes to.
Right.
And those are my own ideas too, because I'm constantly coming up with things that have no business being in my music, or maybe they do, and you wouldn't know until you try it.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Now the EP drops September 20th. For those that are not familiar with you, what is it about music that you chose this as your career path?
Well, when I was growing up, I did a lot of music seriously, but also did many other things. Was interested in trying everything, and still am. But once I got to New York, I found a community of artists that really pushed me to take myself seriously, because they were taking themselves seriously. Like, I had always been producing and like writing songs, but also playing sports and, really like scholarly into school and learning, and was picking maybe some different career paths. But then when I got to New York and saw people putting their whole energy and being into music, it was music specifically, and then seeing their own personal reward when they accomplish that. Not the reward of playing for other people, but just their own personal like excitement and pleasure in creating something great that they were proud of. I was like, I need to do that, and now I can't do anything else. Yeah.